So you're wondering what the best beach from Pensacola to Panama City Beach is? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about it.
Lucky you. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. We're doing videos everywhere from Pensacola to Panama City Beach. So if you have any questions on the area, these are definitely the videos that you're not going to want to miss.
Yeah, so call, text, email, send a carrier pigeon, or a smoke signal. However you want to get a hold of us, all of our information is on the screen.
Make sure if you're sending those smoke signals, you also have water nearby. We don't need any more fires out here, all right?
Yeah, that's not good. Okay, so discussing all of the beaches from Panama City to Pensacola Beach, we both realize that we've got different favorites on which one that is. We're going to kind of talk about that and exactly why, and then stick around for a bonus right at the end because we are going to go over a beach a lot of people don't know about.
Absolutely. So just to give you a little bit of background for both of us, so while both of us have had dogs in the past, only one of us has a child. So where we're coming from as far as which beach is our favorite might come from, different life experience and what we're looking for in a beach. So you've kind of got representation from like the single life to like family life, which one's going to be best for you, potentially.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different beaches here, obviously, and they've all got a different personality. They've got a different type of access. They've got different types of people to go to it, different ranges of how busy they are versus, different times of the year. So there's definitely a lot to it. I know a lot of people think, well, it's all beautiful white sand beaches. I get it. It is gorgeous all the way across the board, but there are subtle nuances that whenever you become a local here, you're visiting all the time, you actually start to notice. Okay, let's jump right into it. AJ, I'm dying to know, what is your favorite beach? We're each going to go through 3 of our favorite beaches here in the area and describe exactly what it's about so that you guys can get a good idea of the different types of beaches that we have out here. So, AJ, what is your favorite beach out of all the beaches from Pensacola to Panama City Beach? Dozens and dozens of options. What's your number 1 favorite?
So my number 1 favorite is the Grayton Beach access.
Oh, that's a good one.
I like getting there through the park, and it's really cool if you go in and take the kayak or a paddleboard, depending on your strength and endurance. It's really cool to access it from basically the backside and come through, and you have these like great shallow areas for the kids. You're able to get a little workout in and then enjoy yourself soaking up the sun. It's just gorgeous. They have this, it's like a little outlet where the water from that dune lake will actually go into the Gulf, and so it intermingles there. They'll let you park Jeeps out there if you have the right permit at certain times.
But not other cars, just Jeeps.
Just Jeeps, because Jeeps are the only ones that matter. Okay. Wranglers, specifically. Just kidding, that's a lie. You just need to be able to have like an off-road vehicle that will successfully make the trek out there onto the beach and back, and make sure you have, of course, a pass for it. But yeah, that's my favorite one. Sage and I really enjoy it. Actually, we have a video on Grayton Beach State Park. So if you haven't been to that beach before and you want to know what it looks like, go ahead and Kliza will put a link to that video up here for you.
They're up here, over here. I can never remember which one it is.
I'm asking her to put it over here.
So. we don't have a choice on that.
Yeah, So, Mongo, what's your favorite beach?
I'm a little bit torn. So on my favorite one, it's going to be somewhere between beach access 5 and 7 on Okaloosa Island. I've got it narrowed down that much now. My favorite one, if I get the choice, is generally 7, just depending on how busy it is. So 7 tends to get a little bit busy. It's right at the end of the island. A lot of locals know about it. So it's a good ways in, and it's just far enough from a lot of people that even though you have a couple of larger condos on the side, you can still get a little bit of relaxed time. I like, naturally introverted human being. I like to be a little bit away from people. Get my little umbrella to make sure that this beautiful pale skin stays as pale as it is. Forbid. So yeah.
Nice. Don't let him fool you. If you guys see him out on the beach, go and say hello. He loves being visited while he's in his Speedo soaking up the sun under his giant rainbow umbrella, and it will make him so happy. Just make sure you have a beverage accompanying you if it's allowed on that specific beach.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Don't come in empty-handed saying hi to me. That's not good. So that is my top favorite. Probably 5's a close second just because it is equally not as busy as any of the other ones. It's right smack dab in the center, of course. As you know, a lot of of the ones on the island, in fact, all of the public beach access on the island have redone their gazebos. They've got very nice restrooms and stuff. So in case you're out there and the mood strikes for you to need to use the restroom and you can't do it in the water for whatever reason, then you've got a place to go. I mean, that's not the main reason. I've never had to use them, but I'm just saying it's a nice feature to have if you're, of course, close to your condo. Of course, that would always help too. So, second favorite, what you got?
Ooh, so I'm kind of piggybacking on yours because I love the beaches on Okaloosa Island, actually. Pretty much any of them. I'm not quite the introvert you are, so I'll pop my towel down right next to somebody else and make friends. So I'm not so much concerned with who's next to me. If you're playing bad music, then I'm probably going to relocate to a different part of beach real estate. But as long as, like, it's a cool vibe and whatever, I just love, you know, how pristine it looks. For some reason, it just seems like Okaloosa Island, even though it gets a ton of people, it just always looks really good. Like, it's always ready for a postcard. It's like, okay, I see you, Okaloosa Island. I don't know what it is, but it just always looks good to me.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. It's like, I don't know if people are taking care of it better or whatever, but even in some of our favorite beaches, you'll be walking around and step on something you should not, like glass or anything like that, but sometimes it's shells. Like, that's why, spoiler alert, Navarre is not in my favorite because it's got shells all over the place, which is great if you want to go shelling and pick up some of these great things. But I want to, you know, I'm here, I live here, I've got this beautiful powder white sand that just goes for miles, and I don't want to step on a nice jagged shard, even though it's not only jagged. But you get my point. That's why it's not in our top favorites, or at least mine.
So I would agree with that to a point, but going into my third favorite is actually Opal Beach, which is still considered kind of part of Navarre. It's just much further out. I feel like you see more of that stuff that you're defining or talking about over towards like Windjammers and stuff, like the more populated area.
That's very true.
And, you know, I think a lot of that reason is because we have the pier there. So, you know, anytime you stick something out into the water as a permanent fixture, whenever the storms come, they hit that side of the pier, right? And that's where you get a bunch of sand build up, and basically everything kind of gets trapped there. So you're seeing more debris right there as opposed to when the water is able to just continue moving on down the way. And so you're seeing a lot more debris and stuff. Plus, it's a lot more populated, so people are dropping who knows what, shafalas, you know.
Some shafalas or, you know, spatulas for short. So that's your first, second, and third. So my second favorite is actually kind of a cheat a little bit. It's not on the Gulf. So I really like the dog beach over there at Liza Jackson Park. Now, of course, I don't have my pup anymore, unfortunately, but she used to love going over there. She didn't get in the water, but the dogs do have very limited exposure to different beaches, and this one's on the Sound, so there's not waves. It doesn't have the same thing. It's not, you know, there's a barrier island in between, so the water's a lot more calm, which is great. Less of a chance of your dog getting swept away by a rip current. Probably pretty important for your little furry friend, but I really
or
like
not
that
so
one.
furry friend if you have children.
That is that is true. So that would be my second favorite.
Yeah, I could see that. I definitely would like to take my 2-pound puppy to the beach and have him not get swept away. Plus, Liza Jackson is a really great point for people who want to get out on the sand but then also want to go do something else. Maybe use your friend as a chauffeur who's got a boat and have them pick you up right there at the Liza Jackson dock. They can like just post up right there and you grab your little dog too and you go out on the water, hang out at Crab Island, put a little sombrero on the dog to keep them out of the heat, you know?
Yep.
So
so we actually have a great video on Liza Jackson Park as a whole that we show off the boat ramp, and they've also got pavilions out there you can rent, a bunch of other options. So we'll throw that somewhere up on the screen so you guys can view that. You can go and right-click that and just pop it in a new window if you want to continue with this video.
Oh, and you know what? They also have a really great playground there. Actually, 2 playgrounds. Yeah, you've got one, like a bigger one that is for a little bit older kids, and then you've got one a little bit further down that's for the smaller kids, which is really great because we all know that they get bored. And so it's like, oh, yay, this has been great playing in the sand, but now I want to do something else, you know, and you're like exhausted because you've been chasing them and trying to make sure they didn't go into a wave that was so far out, and you're like, yes, please go play on this playground. This is great. So definitely a good option for if you have kids too.
Yeah, and speaking of the dogs earlier, you know, not the kids, So I don't know why I said speaking of, but also for the dogs, they have a gated area, for small pups and the bigger pups, so you can all see that in that video as well. Now, number 3, before we get into our bonus video, or not video, our bonus beach. Now going into my third favorite, I'm gonna have to go with Pensacola Beach.
Really?
Yeah, so I think if you want that vibe, that atmosphere, Pensacola Beach offers so much. But this is more than just the beach itself. So I know I'm cheating a little bit. If we're talking about just the best beach, just the beach, we're not talking about the ancillary services behind you, Pensacola is probably not going to be my favorite. It's gorgeous, don't get me wrong. It is well kept, but it's a little more crowded than somebody like me likes.
Yeah, it's very commercialized almost.
Yeah, and that's actually why I'm putting it as my third one, because if you're wanting to maybe go to the beach, but you don't want to spend the day out there, you just want to throw a towel down, grab a drink, and just go until you start feeling the sun rays hit you, 30 minutes. You don't want to bring a cooler full of drinks and, you're not going to spend the whole day. Then Pensacola is an awesome option because you could do that and then pop over to one of their great restaurants. I've got I'm not even going to try to list them, a ridiculous amount of great big name restaurants, or at least big for our area. Some of them are tourist traps, some of them are not. Some of them are meant for, the locals or, people that are there all the time, or at least centered around that, maybe not meant for that. But there's a great atmosphere just about anywhere you go. So I think that's a pretty good third option.
And, this is kind of going a little bit extra and beyond, but still kind of considered Pensacola Beach is Perdido Key. So Perdido Key is absolutely gorgeous. You still get that pristine white sand. It's not quite as commercialized. It's a bit more like what you think of when you think of like old beach towns or whatever. Not so busy of a tourist area that you see in Pensacola proper, but you just head over to Perdido Key. You've got restaurants right on the water, like in the sand, where like the floor is going to be sand basically when you go in there. It's like real beach feeling. I really like that area too. I've found that a lot of folks that come to visit, they don't even know about it. They're like, what are you talking about? Of course, Pensacola Beach. I'm going to go fight for parking over here. And then take them over to Perdido Key, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, that does make a big difference in something that, like you said, a lot of people don't know. So people that have been to Orange Beach, it's actually a very, it kind of extends all the way to that, but it definitely gets a lot more, desolate's not the right word because it's not it at all, but it gets a lot less commercialized. I think that's a really good way to put it as you get into the Perdido Key section, which is really good. And now that brings us to our bonus beach.
Bonus.
For some reason, I thought you were going to do that with me, and I don't know why.
I thought about it. I was like, I can't.
All right, bonus beach. What do we have?
Okay, so remember I told you that we're both coming at this from different perspectives. So our bonus beach is actually going to be, again, on Okaloosa Island, because apparently Okaloosa Island is just a winner, the north side. So it's not going to be that white sand that we're looking at for typically, but it is great for, one, an overflow area. If you can't find parking on the south side on the actual beach, because it's like that sometimes, you just cross over 98, head over to the Gulf Islands National Seashore, and you've got additional parking there. It's a short walk to the water, and that water stays so shallow for, just...
it must be... So I would say it's probably shallow for about 100 yards or so, and that provides its own distinct advantages to go to this beach, particularly if you're going there with a, smaller child, or you just don't want to get hit with the waves, and you kind of want a little bit more of a relaxed experience.
Or if you don't know how to swim, but you really want to enjoy the water, especially if you and your whole family don't really swim, you're not from the area, you're from somewhere that's completely landlocked and there's no reason to really know how to swim, then this is a really great area where you can enjoy the water and the beach, as much as the next person without that fear of something bad happening. And you can also bring your paddle boards over there, or if you have friends with jet skis that maybe live on the other side of the bay or something, they can come meet you, as long as they're real slow and careful coming in, and they can pick you up right there. So
as long as you're not running through the sand or anything like that, because that does clog up jet skis pretty good. So if you've got a rental out there, don't do that. They're not big fans of that. You overheat it very quickly. Found that out a certain way. So, but they've also got other activities that you can do. So if you wanted to do, what is that called? Parasailing. They've got a parasailing company that goes out of that generalized area. And then just next door, it's not technically in the park, but right next door you've got an area where they've got a lot of the charters that come out of here. They're not fishing charters necessarily, but some of the other ones. Like I know Cattywampus is one that I've been on a few times. Some big, what do you call those? Catamaran boats. And they'll take you out, to go see dolphins maybe, or I don't think Catamaran does dolphin tours, do they?
I think
oh,
she
yeah,
does.
They do. Inside
yeah.
of the bay, yeah.
Mhm.
So they'll go, find some dolphins. They'll have you clap. Apparently, the dolphins love that. So if you guys are ever out here by boat, of course, make sure you kill your engines when you're around dolphins. We want to make sure that we're not running over any of them. It does happen from time to time. So yes, you want to kill your engine, raise your engine up, something like that. But you can actually make some noise. You can clap on the side of the boat or clap whatever, and they'll actually a lot of times go straight to you, which is pretty cool. Hopefully, we have some footage of that we can run through here. That would be
Oh, I
pretty
bet we
good.
do.
Yeah.
Or boat day.
Guess we're gonna have to do a boat day. So that concludes our top 3 beaches for each one of us. Definitely
And our bonus.
And our bonus, and it is definitely a big difference in our type of beaches. But I would say if we had to wrap it all up, that Okaloosa Island is definitely a big winner because it's so versatile with different options that you have.
Definitely. And it's really well located if you think about it, whether folks are staying in Fort Walton Beach, Navarre, Okaloosa Island, or all the way out in Destin, because there's really not much beach access in Destin if they're staying at like the Emerald Grand or something like that. So really
Very true.
great as far as being centrally located.
Yeah. So I think that brings a lot of great things. Go ahead and comment down below if you guys haven't already for what your favorite beach is in the area if you come to visit, and if not,
Then comment below with which beaches you would like to see. If we haven't already done a video on them, then we can go ahead and grab some video footage of whatever beaches you guys are less familiar with if we haven't already done a video on it.
yeah, so that would be great too. Go ahead and put that in a comment down below. We do like talking to you guys, and thanks so much for watching. See ya.